What's up, Pepsi Gamer Nation? I'm your host Ivan here for this special spooky Halloween video. Almost everyone around this time of the year is out reviewing horror games, but I feel that Halloween is more than just horror. What about the silly costumes that people wear? For this spooky video, I'll be taking a look at Pepsiman for the PlayStation 1. Pepsiman, the character, was created by Takuya Onuki for Pepsi Japan back in 1995. The character of Pepsiman was made to capitalize on the popularity of superhero mascots in Japan during that time. Pepsiman had commercials where he would deliver Pepsi to thirsty people, regardless of where you were. If someone needed a drink, he was on the scene. Doesn't matter the location. If you were on a snowy mountain, Pepsiman would be there fucking snowboarding down that bitch. Or if you were babysitting some little shit, Pepsiman will be there running at Mach speed to deliver Pepsi, all while saying his catchphrase. At the end of these commercials, Pepsiman will get hurt badly and the damages will be represented by a Pepsi can at the end of the commercials. Pepsiman had to be popular in Japan. He had watches, bottle caps, you can even go to fucking space with him. There were also different variations of Pepsiman. You had classic red and silver that eventually got changed to blue and silver, the Pepsi Twist version with a yellow ski mask, and the Diet Pepsi Twist, which is a female Pepsi Man with titties. But we're here for the video game that was developed by the Japanese game studio Kid. They're more known for their two visual novel series, Memory Off and Infinity. Now, this isn't Pepsi Man's first rodeo in video games. He was also in another game called Fighting Vipers for the Sega Saturn, and before that, he had his own arcade game. Now, this game had a pretty low budget, and there isn't much info about the game's development, but it roughly took them a year to get finished. You would think of all companies, Pepsi would have given them more money. Corrupt bastards. This is why people like Coca-Cola better. Although Kid was trying to get an American publisher for the game, as the entire game is in English, but unfortunately it didn't happen. According to one of the game's artists, the game didn't sell well in Japan. Although in recent years the game has become quite popular, it wasn't as popular when it came out. Nowadays it's pretty pricey to get a copy off of eBay. I highly recommend watching DevNull's video if you want to know more history about Pepsi Man. Anyways, on to the game. The intro starts and we see Enun with a shit ton of Pepsis in a bag. He ends up drinking the Pepsi he just bought from this vending machine and the Pepsi Man theme plays. We zoom inside of the can and the title card plays, and Pepsi Man runs right past us and into the logo. And finally, we're in the main menu, and do you hear that? Yeah, there's no fucking menu music. I think this might be the only part of the game where you never hear the Pepsi Man theme play. There's not much here, so let's get into the game. We start with another FMV cutscene of Enun picking out some more Pepsis to start the game.
Hey, let's start the game!
Cut to Pepsi Man running towards a Pepsi Man employee. The Pepsi employee was on his way to restock a Pepsi machine when he got a flat tire. He says the people will riot if they don't get their Pepsi, so Pepsi Man has to be help desk support because Pepsi can't restock their fucking machines. The first stage is not that bad. The environments are really colorful and the music reminds me of this 1960s surf rock. The stage is based off of one of the first Pepsi Man commercials where he's running through some neighborhood in California. This is a good time to explain what type of game Pepsi Man is. It's an endless runner. Think of Temple Run or Subway Surfers. Pepsi Man can run, jump, and slide. You can slow down if you press down and square. The Pepsi cans are used for extra lives and to heal you. If you get 10 Pepsi cans during the level, you get back to full health. If you complete the level with over 25 cans collected, you get an extra life. Back to the game. I like the 2D sprites for the peds. Some of them are standing while others walk, and some peds can even knock you over. We have a short section where a garbage truck is dropping garbage all over the floor. A Pepsi truck blocks the road, but I end up pressing up and square, which causes me to run, so I hit the truck. The game is lenient, so you could take a couple of hits. We get our first checkpoint and Pepsi Man breaks into a house, but honestly, who leaves their front fucking door open? Pepsi Man then heads into a shed where there's a trash can on his head and the controls are reversed. Left goes right and right goes left. We pass by this mini construction site and break into another house. And what a bunch of bullshit, I couldn't even see that. Jump over this fence and fuck. We're back on the road again, and we see another garbage truck throwing more shit out the back. Now we have a U-Haul truck dropping furniture all over the road. I mean, I'd be pissed if I lost my IKEA couch and my IKEA bookshelf. Anyways, we're at the end of the level. We do a quick slide under this Pepsi truck again, and Pepsi Man buys himself, well, a Pepsi. We get our stats and it's on to the next level, which is just more of the same shit. Slide under a Pepsi truck, pass by a busy construction site, and break into more houses. After that, Pepsi Man goes into another tool shed, but comes out with a skateboard. Aw, hell yeah, I love Tony Hawk and Sonic the Hedgehog. So we're going downhill, jumping 50 feet in the air over trolley cars. A Pepsi truck blocks a part of the road. We ollie over a cement blockade and lose the skateboard. Someone is still throwing more fucking furniture at me. I get hit by this Pepsi truck, and finally we arrive to give all the thirsty people some Pepsi. Then out of nowhere, the Pepsi truck from before arrives on the scene and fucking launches Pepsi Man into the stratosphere. He then hits a Pepsi billboard and the giant Pepsi can falls down onto the ground, chasing Pepsi Man. Now, these chase sections are pretty easy. Avoid the debris on the ground by jumping or moving from side to side. I like the music glitching sound effect here. And it's crazy how they're able to reuse the Pepsi Man theme so many damn times in this game. After avoiding the giant Pepsi, we get another FMV cutscene.
You're doing pretty good. Have a Pepsi. Next stage.
Epic. In the next stage, Pepsi Man is talking to a firefighter when he says that there's a building on fire. Although the fire is under control, there are some people who are stuck on the roof and are exhausted. Our goal is to deliver them some Pepsi. The whole stage is crazy. It looks like there's a huge riot going on. Cars are crashing, they're on fire, people with signs that says "Give me Pepsi." Trucks are dropping barrels of toxic chemicals, mass hysteria, cats and dogs living with each other, and it's all taking place in New York. They got enough shit to deal with. Imagine seeing this on the news.
Channel 7 News, Rydog here with the big scoop. Riots and lootings are happening all over the globe because of one thing: no Pepsi. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, there is a shortage of Pepsi in the vending machines and stores worldwide. We have our correspondent, Jessica Stewart, live right now with a concerned citizen.
How do you feel about the situation?
Where the fuck is Pepsi Man?
Where is Pepsi Man to fix this?
I like the music of the stage. It's got a nice hip-hop flair to it with the record scratching and some police officers' megaphone blaring in the background. Some pretty good stuff here. We get to our first checkpoint. Pepsi Man goes into another shed and he ends up balancing on a barrel. It's a pretty short section, just be sure not to hit anything. And fuck, I got hit by some asshole coming out of a manhole. And would you look at that, I missed a checkpoint. Finally, we come to the most unsafe construction site possible. OSHA would have a heart attack. You got excavators spinning around and shit, random workers picking up balance beams without checking their surroundings, and eventually when you reach this part, balance beams start falling on top of Pepsi Man. And fuck, I ran instead of jumped. But since I missed a checkpoint, you go back to the barrels. After I get the checkpoint, I send this bitch to the fucking moon. I get owned a couple more times and I'm down to my last life, and fuck! I got so much airtime I died. Game over? Well, that sucks. But don't worry, this game has infinite continue, so you can't quit on me. When the game is over, you start the level from the beginning. I made it to the end of the stage and some guy pops out of a manhole. Is he the same asshole from before? Anyways, Pepsi Man buys a Pepsi and then falls down. But where does he fall down to? The sewers, of course. This stage isn't that bad. You jump and you slide over sewer pipes. Pepsi Man crashes straight into a fucking wall and ends up in a subway tunnel. Dodge some construction workers and a train that comes straight towards you. All you really need to do is just run and go to the right. We reach a subway station and I promptly eat shit. You're supposed to jump early onto the platform so you won't fall, but I just thought that Pepsi Man would just do that automatically. My bad. This is my favorite section of this level. You can run straight through these people and just send them flying. It's the funniest thing to me. We're out of the train station and we end up jumping on some rooftops. I want to point out, we started in a sewer, crashed our way into a subway tunnel to reach a train station to end up on some rooftops to deliver Pepsi. I mean, I want to know, how tall is this subway station? Since we can guess this stage takes place in New York, and New York is known for having the tallest subway stations in the world, I assume it's the Smith 9th Street station in Brooklyn, New York. That means that bridge in the background in the last stage is the Brooklyn Bridge, which is also shown in one of the commercials. Alright, whoa, I'm thinking way too deep into this. Back to the game. Pepsi Man jumps in slow motion towards the building with the people stuck on it, delivering the Pepsi, and falls on top of a red pizza truck, and we get another chase sequence. In the commercial, it's a Coca-Cola truck, but in the game, it's a spoof on Red Baron Pizza. I don't know if there's a connection. So we go through this alleyway to avoid more shit. You can't jump as much since there are these Pepsi signs and you get hit by them, but once we get to the end, the truck crashes and Pepsi Man easily escapes, and that ends stage 2. And we get another FMV cutscene.
Pepsi for TV game.
In stage 3, we meet up with a helicopter pilot and he tells us that a plane had to make an emergency landing in the desert, but not to worry because everyone is safe. But they're extremely thirsty, so it's our job to get them some Pepsi. The level starts with this groovy bossa nova music. For the beginning part of the stage, we are dodging trucks left and right. I suggest just walking here because it just makes it easier to get out of the way. If you get hit by the cars, Pepsi Man gets launched to the fucking sky and you die, and you lose a life. If you're in the middle of the lane or happen to get clipped by one of the trucks, Pepsi Man will spin around like a ballerina, but you won't die. Also, Pepsi Man can trip over fucking tumbleweed. I didn't even realize it. I thought it was the game glitch, but no, it was tumbleweed. The next section is dodging some wooden logs that are being dropped out of a truck. If the logs are bouncing, slide under them. If they're rolling on the ground, jump over them. Afterward, Pepsi Man runs past these bikers and they are pissed. I mean, who are these Coca-Cola cultists trying to stop Pepsi Man from helping out those poor people stranded in the middle of the desert? Wow. What assholes. At first they come at you one at a time, but then they try to kamikaze into you. There's a short section where a car comes up behind you and a giant Pepsi can falls off of a billboard, but it's pretty short. We reach to a gas station and go straight into a car wash to end the level. Next stage, we're out in the desert dodging bulls, cactuses, tumbleweed, and mini cactuses. We reach our first checkpoint where Pepsi Man rides on a barrel to cross over these wooden planks. The barrels drift from side to side, making it really hard to pass over these wooden planks. The cactuses are easily avoidable, but these wooden planks have the worst hitboxes ever. Like, I couldn't even react to that. Game over? Again? Ugh, back to the beginning. I get it done after a few tries, but fuck those wooden planks. The next section, we're in a mine shaft, dodging mine carts, bottomless pits, and Indiana Jones boulders? It's not that hard, but some of these jumps are just tricky dicky. I have no idea how I didn't die from that jump, but the boulder that barely touched me gets me flattened. Ridiculous. We make some more crazy jumps and dodge some more shit, now including balance beams, and we're at the home stretch. 2 minecarts come at you, but just stay in the middle while they pass. And behind those minecarts are 3 boulders. If you move right and then to the left fast enough, you'll be able to pass them with ease. Break through this wooden barricade and deliver the Pepsi. But the party is short-lived. A bunch of bulls come out of nowhere and launch Pepsi Man into a pile of wooden logs, and we get another chase sequence. My tip, that I stole from my girlfriend, by the way, is to stay on the right side at all times and just jump accordingly. Sometimes the logs might come flying out from the top, so just time your jumps and move from side to side. Anyways, the rolling logs crash and Pepsiman escapes, and we get another FMV.
Pepsi for pizza.
Now we're at the final stage. Stage 4 starts with Pepsiman talking to a police officer, and he says that someone deleted System 32 from the main computer at Pepsi City, and it's our job to fix it. And holy shit, I really enjoyed this trance remix of the Pepsiman theme. Anyways, Pepsi City has fallen. Cop cars are on fire, Pepsi trucks are on fire and flipped on their sides, a Pepsi truck tries to murder us, and signs are falling for no reason. Jesus, Pepsi really needs to up their security. We make it to our first checkpoint, and this section, it's really not that hard once you memorize the pattern. On the first car you go right, on the second car you go left. When the two Pepsi trucks come towards you, just stay in the middle of the road so you can jump from right and then left. When the last truck appears, just go right. Slide under this Pepsi truck and Pepsiman goes into the back part of the store and ends up with a trash can over his head. The controls are flipped in this section. My advice is to follow the Pepsi can trail, and when these two trucks appear, you want to be slightly towards the right but still in the middle of the road to avoid these trucks. We get to our next checkpoint where we have to make these tough jumps over these bottomless pits. Oh man, I'm almost there. I have 12 seconds left. Fuck! Come on, get up, Pepsi Man. I got 7 seconds left to make it. I gotta make a mad dash. Whew. Made it with only 2 seconds left to spare. Pepsi Man buys a Pepsi and then walks to the right and the level ends. Oh man, this next stage is AIDS. We're inside a Pepsi factory, dodging signs and crates full of Pepsi. The first part wouldn't be so annoying if all these bottomless pits and fucking conveyor belts were in the way. On top of that, you have Pepsi crates coming from the sides. Damn! So here's what you need to know. If there's a gap, run and jump over it. Because what's going to happen is that a Pepsi crate might appear out of nowhere and take you out. In this part, you want to run on the right side where the conveyor is pointed up, so you can pass these two crates. This next part is a clusterfuck of jumping around and avoiding signs and shit. At the end, there's a door that closes and opens constantly, so you have to time your run. You can slow down for this section so you don't hit the door. We make a sick jump and we get to our first checkpoint. This next section is the easiest part of this level. Just slide and jump under these pipes. Afterward, we make some quick jumps and we're on to the next section, and there's a bunch of flying crates and shit all around. All I do is just risk it and just run past them. There's probably a pattern to make this easier, but fuck all that. If you survive that section, you'll make it to another door. Make a big jump and get all the cans. You'll get the last checkpoint here. This is the final part of the level, and it is hell. All you need to do is glide past these floating Pepsi boxes, which isn't hard. The hard part is making it past these tight, narrow spaces. If only Pepsi Man would slow the fuck down. I cannot explain the amount of tries I went through to pass this section. The reason is by the time I get here, I've already lost all my lives. So when I finally get here, I'm thinking, oh god, I'm gonna do this. Only for Pepsi Man to fucking eat shit instantly, and then I game over. Like I mentioned before, this game has infinite continues, so there's no reason to give up. So you'll end up playing this stage for hours. You start to get good and you can breeze through the first 2 sections with no problem, but you'll always fuck up the ending because you've been playing this game for so fucking long that you start to get nervous and choke. Or you try to go really fast and you start getting sloppy and making mistakes all over the place. Then you start to go through a phase where all the skills you accumulated have deteriorated because you're getting frustrated over all these tiny mistakes that lead you to game over. But after figuring out the pattern or just getting lucky, you feel fucking unstoppable. So Pepsi Man makes it to the main computer and reboots it by spraying his Pepsi jizz all over the motherboard. and then the level ends. Thank God. The final level is piss easy. Pepsi Man, after saving the day, runs out of the Pepsi factory to stand under a giant Pepsi can that falls down, starting another chase sequence. It's similar to the log chase where there are logs on the ground and logs being spat at you from the top. All I do is just zigzag my way to victory. Pepsi Man is able to get away and a giant Pepsi can crashes, and we get our final FMV.
You got it! Yeah! Yeah! Woo! Everybody Pepsi! Drink Pepsi! Pepsi. Only my choice.
Enun is happy that we beat the game. Roll credits. We are then shown a montage of Pepsi Man falling on his ass. The last shot is Enun needing to take a piss.
Pepsi is... Excuse me.
And Jesus Christ, look at all those Pepsi cans. This guy's gonna piss out a kidney stone. Back to the main menu, where if you go into the option settings, you can change Pepsi Man's outfit to old or new Pepsi. You unlock this outfit after beating the game once. There are two other outfits, Wire and Stealth, without the A. To unlock the Wire outfit, you have to get 100 Pepsi cans in every single level. To unlock Stealth, you have to beat the game on Expert mode, which is just the normal game but you die easier. You can also do free play where you can try to get a good time to show off to all your speedrun friends, or collect 100 Pepsi cans. You also have 99 lives, so you can fuck up to your heart's content. Other than that, the game is done. My thoughts on Pepsi Man is that it's a pretty average game. Not good, and not bad, it's mid. It's incredibly short. It took me roughly 2 hours to beat it on my first playthrough, and a majority of that time was spent on the Pepsi City stages. I like the art style and enjoy how many of these stages were based on the Pepsi Man commercials. The music is really good. It's even on vinyl. The Pepsi Man theme will be forever engraved in your brain. For the budget and time that Kid had, they did a pretty good job. And don't take my word for it, hear it from someone else who's played the game.
It's alright. Fuck.
With that being said, I rate Pepsi Man for the PlayStation 1 3 Pepsi bottles out of 5. I recommend it if you want to kill a couple of hours. What I don't recommend is buying it. The cost of the game is around $80 to $100 on eBay. When I was in Japan, it was going for $137. So I suggest burning this game onto a CD or just use an emulator. So happy late Halloween. Hope nobody had razor blades in their candy, and happy early Thanksgiving too. Stay hydrated, eat a turkey with your family, and subscribe to the channel. I'll be here drinking Pepsi. Peace.